All right. So, Vinod, you want to go ahead? Just share your perspective. You have also been handling clients, with respect to the stress also, and then you understand insulin resistance, how, it impacts weight and everything. Do share, your key takeaways, and then from your experience, anything you want to share.
Yeah, sure, Vishal. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, all. This is a very interesting a combination of chapters with insulin and cortisol, which are kind of supplementary to each other. So, in insulin, the chapter, what basically the author highlights is that what the main thing he says is that uh, the insulin levels of obese people are generally more than the insulin level of leaner people. It is generally the case. So that is something he puts to test, and he also says the best way to understand insulin level is with the fasting level. Otherwise, because throughout the day it kind of varies up and down. So easiest way to check your insulin level is after a day's night's fast. And what he does is he just wants to put this particular theory to test whether it is insulin is a very major factor or not. So he goes through a series of studies. So the one studies, what he does is that which is almost similar type of studies. In '93, he says he studies type 1 diabetic people, where a group of people are given a standard dose of insulin and a standard dose, and the other group is given an extra kind of dose. And over a period of 5-6 years, then what he's found out that even the sugar levels are okay, but he's found that obesity levels increase for the people who are given more doses, and it's by more than 30%. So then he goes through a series of other tests where, again, the earlier test in '70s also, where he says that again the groups are divided into different formats, and insulins given to a standard kind of insulin given to one dose, one group of people, and some in more insulin to other group. Again, the result is consistent where the sugar levels are okay. There is no problem. The sugar levels are in control, but there is weight gain. And of course, then he goes to a more recent study where in 1993, where what they do is they again divide the group into two, and but in the second group, well, the first group is given standard dose of insulin and go ahead. The second group has the insulin levels are slowly increased over a period of 6 months, and they're also told to eat less. They eat 300 calories less. And what the results were again consistent. What they found that despite of having less calories, they so the sugar levels but the obesity, and over a period of 6 months, they see about a 8 to 9 kilo increase in average obesity of people when they started. More or less, they're the same. So this is something which is very consistent over a period of time, and the different kinds of types of how do you treat diabetes? Two broad groups he checks. One is the metformin where the metformin works with just by trying to control the glucose, and there is the sulfonylurea where the pancreas is told to increase the insulin to reduce the sugar. In both the treatments, the sugar is controlled. There is not a problem. But in the metformin group of people, they see that there is not much of the weight gain is very negligible because there is not much of insulin the rise of spike of insulin is not much. But the other group, sulfonylurea group, they find that because of the rise of insulin, there is more weight gain. So this is a series of studies which they see and check that generally what is the fact is being established that if the insulin levels are higher in the body, there is weight gain. And he also talks about some other kind of medicine which has nothing to do with diabetes treatment. For example, he talks about for psychotic disorder, the medicine given for that, or given for nerve treatment. When they see that, even though there is nothing to do with diabetes, what they said, these drugs kind of raise the insulin levels to certain level, and those people also had weight gain. So what he's trying to say, also he also says that a type 1 diabetic person is very strange. This kind of experiment, he says a diabetic cannot survive if he doesn't have insulin. But when he has less of insulin, he'll never get fat, no matter how much the person eats. So, but once they're given insulin, which is basically a life-saving drug for them, so if the insulin levels for them also increase, they see a weight gain. So it becomes a very consistent phenomenon where they see the levels of insulin is directly responsible for the extra weight which is gained for that particular person. So this is with the insulin chapter, and the cortisol chapter is again deals with the cortisol hormone is basically a stress hormone, and here he says the prednisone, which is the synthetic version of cortisol, is given for other treatments, for asthma, for arthritis, and for inflammatory bowel disease, all kinds of stuff. But what they see, there's a rise in insulin, and again there is weight gain. So what is actually cortisol used for? Cortisol is just hormone produced only to combat stress, and it is only for a short period of time. In our earlier days, it was basically for survival. For example, if a predator is chasing you, the cortisol is formed so that extra glucose is available in the blood and people can use it up. So what happened in earlier days? Either the glucose is used up and we escape the predator, or we are dead. But what happens is the glucose is used up. It's used because of high physical action for a short period of time. So that burns off the extra glucose and we are coming back to normal. But that situation over a longer period of time is the dangerous portion, because of today modern day life, we have all kinds of stressful situations, home, work, travel, etc., etc., etc. But what happens? The cortisol is being formed. But what is the earlier days? What happened? We had quick, high physical action to bring down that blood sugar, but that is not happening nowadays. So that what leads to, it leads to again to a constant higher level of glucose in the blood, which again raises insulin. So indirectly cortisol is making sure that we are losing, we are that is a predominant kind of feature for weight gain in an indirect manner. And there's so many, and the very funny part is this: it has nothing to do with calories. Stress has got no calories, but indirectly, what it does, it is increasing the blood sugar level and the insulin level, and there again, though weight gain happens. So a major reason he says is one of the major thing is having lack of sleep. When you have lack of sleep, our complete circadian rhythm is disturbed, and the two main hormones like ghrelin and the leptin, which controls our hunger, that also gets disturbed. That again leads to a mismatch in the insulin levels. So what happens over a period of time? The lack of sleep is a very major factor in which, because if you are looking to lose weight and if you don't sleep, there is no way you are going to lose weight. It's very quite simple, because everything is disturbed for a period of time. So sleep, if you want to lose weight, to have some kind of consistency, you have to have decent amount of sleep. You have to figure out a way to go to sleep, to bring down your stress levels, and different ways are there: meditation, having doing all kinds of things possible to keep their sleep down. So this is where how a cortisol affects weight gain in a indirect manner. So this is a small summary, Vishal, and it's back to you.
Wonderful, Vinod. It was good to hear from your perspective. See, a lot of us, we do not know, why insulin gets, triggered in the body, right? See, insulin triggers because of carbohydrates. It's not because of fat, or it's not because of protein, right? So, what are the carbohydrates that we normally eat? We eat rice, we eat, different variations of rice like dosa, idli, all this triggers, even the junk food, sweets, all this triggers insulin. So if you see, right, in this society also, many people do not know that it is the carbohydrate that is actually contributing to their weight gain, and it is not happening in the last 1 2 years. It has been happening over few decades, because that is what we've been eating, right? Morning we used to eat dosa, idli, afternoon rice, again night rice, again chapati. Chapati is still okay, but then rice is the major contributor for weight gain. Because what happens is, see, as long as we are young, 20s, when you are 25, I can eat anything and everything. Body will metabolize whatever that I eat. Insulin is produced, it still gets metabolized in the body, and then it's used up in the energy, it doesn't get stored. But as we start aging after 25, 30, 35, what happens is, body will not, whatever that I eat, half of it only will get used up in the energy. Remaining half, it will get stored as fat in the body. That is why, it is important to reduce the carbohydrate, right? again, when I say reduce the carbohydrate, we also need to be cautious about, not, not to do overdo it unless we know the science behind it, because it has to be balanced with good amount of fat and protein. Fat and protein doesn't trigger insulin, right? The more insulin is produced, more weight gain. And then why insulin is produced? Because of carbohydrates. So this thing is, to reduce the carbs. What are the carbs? Maida, rice, even wheat also, right? It's I'll still say it is better, but then why better I say is because with wheat the insulin production in the body is little bit gradual, right? But then with rice it spikes and then it falls down, right? So so that is the thing with insulin. Then that is exactly what Dr. Jason Fung talks about in the book. And second thing is, coming to the stress hormone. Many people don't know that, stress is one of the biggest contributor to weight gain, especially in our sedentary lifestyle. So, like what Vinod said, just to add on to what he said, yes, if there's some situation, some stress is there, body will spike up that cortisol, our adrenaline glands will produce that cortisol. Because of the cortisol, we are focused, we are attentive, and then we get the job done. Right, we have a time frame to meet, and then we will definitely get the job done. But the problem with the cortisol is that, even though the situation is over, the cortisol will always, it will be high itself, it will not come down. That is where the problem is. Little amount of cortisol is anyways very important for us to do the activities, for us to do meet our goals, for us to be motivated also. But then there's no switch off switch is not there. That is why we should be consciously ensure that we relax ourselves. So what we try to do is, yes, through externally we try to help, at the same time internally with the right nutrition. There are specific nutrition like ashwagandha will help, then brahmi will help, will increase the stress levels within the body. And externally, yes, there's some massages, specific oils for the massages. Little, if we are able to do that on a consistent basis, our stress levels will come down. Because if you may be doing the diet, you may be doing a lot of good things, good, you may be eating very good food, but if the stress is there in the body, weight loss will not happen, right? Because again, stress, because of stress, cortisol, which is a fat storing hormone, right? So more cortisol means more, fat gets stored in the body. So it was so this is I've been seeing this with a couple of my clients who are into sales, who travel a lot, couple of people who are there in the management, senior management, huge amount of stress. So I've been able to help them in a practical way. That is that is from our experience of working with so many clients, right? So that was a small take about my experience from this two chapters, as well as from my experience. Sunita, how to you?
Thank you, Vishal. It's a great book actually, The Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung, who is the MD, who treats patients with the kidney diseases. While he started studying, like in terms of insulin or weight gain, when we started thinking, we think of like I'm most of the people will be like, I'm not into that conscious control. I know I am maybe overeating. Many people will come back, right? Like in the first call itself, they'll tell, I know I can control my weight by eating less, or I'm eating like I'm a foodie, I'm overeating, or I am not into any kind of physical activities. If I do some exercises, I know I can lose the weight for sure. But from the beginning of the 18th century itself, lots of studies has been done in terms of weight loss and why the weight gain happens, all those things, right? Like even my first webinar, like I have studied many things and I have presented that also, like how the studies came up. They did all those things, like they created the group of people. For them, they controlled the calories one time. Their like weight loss happened for up to one extent, and then again weight rebound happened because they started doing craving for certain foods. And because of the calorie count, they started feeling like low on energy. And again in another group, some doctors advise the persons to go on high carb diet, low fat and low protein. That also again end up with high sugar levels in the body. So because of all that, and many studies happened like in from last 20 um, decades, where they noticed that finally they come for a conclusion that insulin is the culprit here. So why weight gain happens? Because so you do this is not about calorie controlling. This is not about low on someone's willpower. This is not about lack of exercise. It's all about insulin. Okay. So what happens when you start eating the carbohydrate? Insulin rises in the body, and that insulin actually stores the fat. So there and again, if it not about the food, so they again started studying some medicines which they started giving to diabetes. Diabetes is the condition there. Insulin resistance will be there. Because of that, sugar will be flowing in the blood vessels for many years, and that causes diabetes. Means no insulin. Maybe it's a poor insulin production, or it's not, insulin secretion is not happening in the body. That is the stage we call it as diabetes, right? There they found that by giving some of the medicine now for diabetes to control the diabetes, what they're going to do, they're going to give the external insulin production. So whenever insulin increases in the body, fat storage happens. So initially they didn't find out that. So they saw the blood sugar level came for control, but ultimately they started gaining, the patients started gaining the weight. So then they started studying on all the diabetes medicines, or like Vinod told, some of the psychiatric medicines, some of the nerve related medicines. Normally, without this knowledge itself, if you go and ask some people whoever is having some sleep disruption, disturbation, for them, people, doctor will be giving some sleeping pills. So that actually affect on their nerve function. Okay, that excessive thinking won't be there. Because of that, they're going to have a calm sleep. But over a period of time, after taking 1 month or 2 months, you can see the gradual increase in their weight. So they'll come up and say, I started that medicine, I'm getting very good sleep, and I'm gaining the weight also. But most of the people won't be knowing about the science behind of that. In that, actually, in all the diabetes medicine, we can call metformin is the little safer one in terms of weight gain, because it's not going to increase the insulin level also, and it's not going to increase the it will give the signal to the cells to take out the glucose. Glucose uptake will be more in having metformin, so that their weight will be in the range. Okay, all those other things I already Vishal and we know the discussed. Same thing I don't want to repeat. And again, to clarify that, in 1993 there was a study. Okay, there they started giving insulin for the group of people. They started from 0 to 100 unit. At the same time, they wanted to see if by lowering the calorie, what happens, people will be able to sustain the same way. But it was wrong. They actually, obviously their sugar level came for normal, but the weight also increased. In a 6 month of period, they started gaining weight more than 8 kgs. So that means wherever the sugar related medicine, the insulin increases in the body, they started gaining the weight. Okay. And one more thing, I wanted to tell you all that there is like how insulin can increase the weight. So that again, by lowering the insulin level can reduce the weight, right? So that all theory we are practicing. But some of the people, by consciously they want to reduce the weight as of sudden, immediately they want to reduce as per for cosmetic reasons. They started taking this SGLT2 inhibitor. So that is a kind of medicine that actually completely lowers down the insulin. It's very dangerous thing. Even it's not advisable from the medical side also, but it's in presence. So many of the people are undergoing for that to see the sudden weight loss. So they're risking their self. And one more example I wanted to give here is one of my client. Okay, she is just 25 years old. She came to me to for weight loss, but already doctor has prescribed her metformin. So I just asked her while she filled the form. I just asked her, "Oh, so are you diabetic or in a pre-diabetic stage?" She said no. Then are you taking metformin? She said yes. My doctor recommended. I am taking. So if you are not diabetic, why you are taking metformin? Then she said I have no clue. Then I asked her, you send me your old reports. So whatever you are having. So I saw that in that there is no history of diabetes or pre-diabetic or HbA1, A1C range. Then I asked her to go for one more blood test, okay, to make clarify. So why she is taking metformin? Then again she took the blood test, everything is normal. Then I asked her to go and check with your doctor. Why he prescribed you metformin? That's also not for 1 or 2 days. It's for a couple of months. They had advised. The shocking news came that doctor has gave her metformin to reduce her weight because it reduces the insulin level in the body. So in that way, doctor wanted to reduce her weight. So how serious the thing is. So without having any such conditions, by medication, lowering the insulin level, and in that age itself, because metformin obviously it has some adverse effect on our kidneys if someone is taking for a long time. So, so what I wanted to tell you that insulin and its signs, we all know that when you eat carbohydrate rich food, so it's going to increase your insulin. And to correct the insulin resistance, we give low carb diet. Obviously we can correct the insulin resistance also. Insulin level, blood sugar level, everything will come to normal, and we can give the weight loss by going with the this kind of quick fix might harm anyone with their life, or in the future it can give any problem. So if you notice these things, maybe we have to educate our clients that this is what is going to happen. This will be given for this thing only. So not for weight loss, all those things. We have to guide them in a right manner. And another thing is about cortisol, like whatever hormonal imbalance happens in our body. So all the things has a relationship with our insulin. So as Vishal and Vinod told, when someone is chasing us or some stressful situation happen, that time we have to our energy level should be very high at that moment. In the sense, that's the reason stress management is our bodily mechanism. For that purpose, our adrenal glands are going to release cortisol to cool down the stress, because in that, when the cortisol releases, so it will release the glucose from our liver and muscles to give the more source of energy to our body. Obviously, when the glucose increases in our body, insulin has to produce, right? So that's why, like whenever you get the this thing stressful situation, insulin increases, like how glucose increases, like that insulin also increases. That obviously going to lead you to weight gain. Again, that some of our medicines like prednisolone, which is given to asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, some cirrhosis conditions, some kind of inflammations, even for cancers thing. So that is having lots of amount of cortisol. It's a synthesized form of cortisol. People taking that will increase the weight gain. And even like that, so when the stressful situations happen, insulin increases. So here we can clearly see that for weight gain or weight loss program is completely dependent on our insulin and its function. So to correct that, low carb diet is the best thing. So we can heal our cells also. We can take out the cell from insulin resistant situation also. It can become normal, and we can take out the person from high blood sugar level to normal blood sugar level. And after the diet plan also, they can lead a healthy lifestyle without any medicine, by eating normal food. Because once the resistance corrects, once the organ healing happen properly, by correcting our insulin sensation, so they'll be normal like everyone, so they can always enjoy their life with a normal eating. So this is what I wanted to share with Vishal. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunita. It was really wonderful to, hear your perspective on insulin as well as cortisol. See, I just remembered when Sunita was speaking, I just remembered last year, when I used to go to the gym, the trainer there used to tell me, eat a lot of carbs and come, right? See, we also know that 95% of the people who go to the gym, they go to the gym for weight loss. It's a very small percentage of people who actually go to for strength exercises or strengthening core conditioning, who really want to be fit. But 95% people, whom I have also seen, they go to gym to for weight loss, right? So one of the myth is that, you want to do weight loss, go to gym. You want to do weight loss, do yoga. You want to do weight loss, go out and then start walking, start running, right? See, last week in the last call we discussed, right? Including this author, Dr. Jason Fung, he himself says, any kind of physical activity that you do, you can do it, but if it is you're doing it for weight loss, it contributes only 5%. In our consultations, I used to tell 80-85% is your diet, nutrition, your weight loss. 10-15% I used to tell. But then, in the book, he says 5%, so people don't really understand the real science. See, the reason why people also say that whether it is a gym trainer or even the nutritionist these days, it is the reason being that that is what we've been learning for the last 30, 40, 50 years, right? That is the food pyramid: 50-60% carbs, 20% fat, and then, no, I think 20% protein, 10% fat. This is what we have been learning from the past 40-50 years, and which is totally wrong. That is the reason why, if you see countries like India, US, China, there's so many obese people, because this is the food pyramid that was recommended to us. But if you see Europeans, there are less people who are obese because their carb intake is less, lot of vegetables, and then fat, protein, meat is more. But then, like us, we eat rice, chapati and all, which is carbs. In US, what do they have? They have almost every day they have bread, again, which is carbs, right? And this is all simple carbs. The moment I say simple carbs, it means spike in insulin. So that means, there's no chance of weight loss, unless, there's lot of willpower that you use to ensure that, you control willpower and everything, right? So carb intake has to reduce with, again, with good proportion of fat and protein too. Just directly because you want to reduce the carbs, the insulin level comes down, weight loss will happen, is a myth. Because you, even if you try to do that also, you'll end up starving. Right? You will end up starving. I have seen people who have lost 15 kgs, 20 kgs, only to feel they lost their focus. They were not able to concentrate, attention. Because there was one guy who connected with me in LinkedIn. He saw my post and then he pinged me, and then I did his consultation for around 45 minutes. And then he told he lost 20 kgs on his own. Very good. But then in the process of losing 20 kgs, he did for almost 7-8 months. He took and then he lost. But he told me the side effects of that. He lost his focus because, again, he did not plan well what exactly he needs to have. He just did based on his understanding, based on whatever he learned in YouTube or Google. His cravings went up, right? Willpower, every time he had to use his willpower, right? That is the problem, when you go fat diet, when you just reduce the carbs and then try to lose weight. So concentration was not there, and you used to still drink, and then he was actually irritated, he was angry after losing weight, right? See, what I want is lose weight, but do it happily. And that is what I have done for myself. I've become fit and then started running marathon and all. It is the same thing with all my clients, right? One client who had 117, he came down to 93. It took 6 months. It's okay, but he feels so happy. Appetite has come down. That is one of the symptoms. If your appetite is coming down, stress has come down, cravings has come down, sleep is increased, afternoon sleepiness has come down, All these are symptoms that your body is getting healed. You are fixing the root cause. All this happens when you choose a right diet, when you give your body good amount of nutrients. Our body requires so much amount of nutrients. If we are just able to take care of that, right, we don't really require, that much amount of, carbohydrate in our diet. It is not only for the weight loss, even, outside the weight loss also, carb intake less is always good. Okay. We have seen Vinayak joining the call. Vinayak, you're there? Okay, Vinayak may be busy. All right. Gitesh, Bala, Naresh, any inputs or any questions, anything you want to ask, feel free, or you can type your message also. Gitesh?
I'm good, sir.
Any doubt or any clarification, feel free.
No, I'm good as of now.
Okay. Okay. Naresh says no. Naresh, you're following the program, right? You're following the diet and all, isn't it? You can unmute and speak, no problem.
Yes, I'm following the diet.
Okay. I mean, feel free. Any doubt or any clarification, from your experience, you want to share something, a line or two, you can go ahead.
No, still I'm in the process. So till now I don't have any problem. So in future, maybe if I have any problem, then I will.
Okay. But are you able to understand the science behind, what diet, you're being recommended, how your health coach is working with you? You have some idea about it? I mean, why she's doing what she is doing? You are able to understand that now?
Yeah, I can understand now.
Yeah. Good.
I have a general question. Actually, this is Vala and his wife. We were
Uh-huh.
both are doing the program. See, we come
Uh-huh.
from South, and our ancestor always had rice, which is a
Mhm.
carbohydrates. And I always felt like we also consumed rice, but now we have completely stopped. But I always feel that it is in your gene type, like whatever food your ancestor had, my body is structured in certain way based on the environment, on my gene and everything. So as we are saying that completely stop carbohydrates, is that the right thing to do? Maybe we can limit the quantity, but this is something in my head going on, so I was not sure. If you can just give me more clarification on that.
Absolutely. In fact, you asked a very, very good question. But then, pardon me if there is some noise. It is my daughter. I have, certain control only, right? I'm just,
That's that's
right?
fine.
There'll
That's
be some
fine.
noise in the background. So, see, what you're telling is correct. Carbohydrate intake is good, right? Carbohydrate intake is important. I'm not telling, we need to do zero. No. Zero is not what we are telling, right? If you see, right, before the program, what was your diet like? Used to have, it was mostly carbs, right? Whether it is snacks or sweets or, our regular breakfast, rice, and everything was carbs. So 60-70% of it was carbs. So what we are telling the body right now is, see, body requires carbs for the day-to-day functioning, functioning of the internal organs, giving you energy, keeping you, motivated and everything. So what we are telling the body through this program, through this diet is that, hey, look, this is the amount of carbs I'll give you. This is something which is essential for the body, 20%, 25%, that is all I will give. Anything more that you want, please go and burn the fat that is there inside your body. Where is that fat? There are two areas where that fat is, and that fat is because of the more insulin that you've been produced, because of lot of carbs. So where is that insulin stored? Where is that fat stored? In two areas. One is below the skin. If you touch your skin and see, right, you can see some fat there, right, below the skin. That is called as
Yeah.
a subcutaneous fat, right? So one way of deposition of the fat is subcutaneous fat. This is okay. This is not dangerous. This is still fine. The second way where the fat deposition will happen, that is called as your visceral fat. It is the fat around your organs. It is the fat around your liver, around your heart, and around your digestive system, right? So when that happens, that is really dangerous because it will constrain the functioning of the organs also, right? You must have heard about fatty liver, right? What is fatty liver? There's fat deposition around your liver that will that is the first stage of liver degradation, right? So what we are telling the body is, hey, this is the amount of carbs that will give you, and body already has fat, right? We are telling the body anything more that you want, for producing energy in the body, go and burn the fat that is already there. Okay, that fat that is there under the skin, that is that fat that is around the organs. And then when that gets converted into energy, it is called as ketones. That is the term that is used, right? So if you're seeing the progress in this program, that means it is low carbs, because you're getting the very much essential nutrients, essential carbs from a lot of vegetables. And vegetables, why? Because it is complex carbs. When you take carbs, see, if you see in this diet, right, nobody will say you must have this much amount of calories. There's nothing like that with respect to it. You can have any amount of vegetable, because it is complex carbs. Your rice is a simple carb. Your sweet, jamun, and all is simple carbs. When I say simple carb, it means the moment you eat, there's a spike in the insulin. And then, have you observed, after you eat a lot of sweets, after you have biryani and all, next 1.5 hour later, you feel down also. Your mood swing happens, right? That
Yeah.
used to happen because of the spike of insulin, and then it crashes in the next 1.5 hours. A sweet, you take a lot of sweet, next 1.5 hours, you will be high because insulin spike has happened. After 1.5 hours, the insulin spike comes down, right? And then that is why you feel bad about yourself, mood swing happens, right? So with vegetables, why we recommend a lot of vegetables is because it is a complex carbs. That means, your insulin production will gradually, it will happen over a period of time, right? And because of which, this is exactly what we want, right? And then good amount of fat as well as protein is recommended, because protein, fat as well as fiber has no relation to insulin production. It doesn't, you have lot of chicken, lot of egg, lot of fish and all, it doesn't trigger insulin, right? So what we try to do in this program is that giving you a good amount of low carbs, essential ones, and then, so that you don't have cravings, your stomach is full, you have good amount of fat and protein. And again, don't be with the notion that I eat more fat, I eat lot of ghee, I eat lot of egg, I become fat. That is again a wrong understanding in the society.
Okay.
Did I answer your
Got it.
question, Bala?
Yes. I think this is Bala's wife. We both are on the program. So he's in a meeting, so I took over. So
Okay. Fine.
yeah, so I think it is good. It's just that I'm not a person who eats too many eggs. So I'm trying to now. But yeah, that's fine if this is just for a certain period of time, and slowly, gradually, we can go off egg or
Yeah.
meat, then that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So even after the program also, right, you can still, reduce the intake, right?
Yeah.
So that is what I tell my clients also. I'll not say that, you completely avoid carbs. No, that is not the right approach. I'll say you do a mix and match. I'll say that, in the maintenance, I'll tell you how to go about in the maintenance so that there's no rebound. So you lost 10 kgs. You don't want to gain back 10 kgs, right, in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Right. So what I tell is, you do a mix and match. So every day you are eating rice. Now just, take at least 2 times in a week is sufficient. Eat lot
Okay.
of salad, lot of vegetables. You can, incorporate lot of fruits, and then good amount of fat and protein, so that your cravings comes down, your appetite also comes down. So that is how, if you see a lot of people in our community, right, transform you, they've lost 20 kgs, 25 kgs, but there's no rebound. This is exactly the reason.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Vishal, I would like to add one more point here related to our ancestors' food habit and ours. So, if we look at into our ancestors, they used to take the same portion, like maybe carb was more, less protein and less fat. Still, they were like able to maintain the fit body. Only one reason is the food what they used to eat, that was very good in quality. There was no pesticides that time, if you go back like 75 years back and all, no pesticides, no preservatives. Nowadays it's poured, okay, in each and every rice you take, vegetables you take, fruits you take, genetically modified, that is one thing, and again poured with pesticides and preservatives. And along with that, they used to do lots of physical activities from morning when they go to the field, and they'll come in the evening. So like minimum 8 to 9 hours, they'll be in the field and do lots of physical activities, and they used to burn all those calories they eat. That all like in the range of healthy only, because of no pesticides and preservatives. And one more thing is that nowadays the stress, earlier they used to stay in like a kind of a joint family, and they used to share things, and one other to care one person to other person used to be there. Now we kind of staying in a very small family, and don't have any time to share our feelings with our spouse or kids. Kids will go to the school, and husband goes to office, wife goes to office in the evening with a damn tired mood. They'll come, where they'll get the time to spend with each other. The feelings will stay there itself. Because of that, stress also stays there itself. So all together matters. So or else if the same lifestyle they had, like same food habit they ate in like 75 years back, in a sense, that time there was no need of supplementation also, no need of doctors also. They used to live for like minimum 80-90 years without any diseases. Now we can see all the diseases early, degenerative diseases, illness, lot of things now, right? It's all happened because of our civilization. We call it as, because of that, changes happened, refined items came, it took place. So because of that, everything is happening. So by changing with all these things, we need some changes in our lifestyle also, to like match to that changes, the food or the chemical or the environmental pollution or the civilization. We need to do some changes in terms of our lifestyle also, by eating, in our eating, or do some physical activities in terms of exercises, or managing our stress, or taking some of the nutrients as well. Then only we'll be able to lead a healthy life. So
No,
this
I
actually,
agree. No, I agree 100% to that, and I do understand that. But good. Thank you for that insight.
thank you, Sandhya, to coming up with a good question.
Vinayak, you're there.
Yeah, Vishal, I am there.
You raised your hand. You wanted to say something.
No,
or
I
want to
just
ask something?
no, I think Sunita has beautifully explained. I just wanted to add the same thing, maybe on a lighter note, because you also explained it very well. Maybe Mrs. Bala wanted to know why we cannot have rice. Anything in moderate is allowed, but how is your on a lighter side? I would like to ask Mrs. Bala that how do you wash your clothes now, or how do you clean your house? Probably the physical activity, like Sunita mentioned, we are not active in whole day. The ancestors were doing all day courses, but now we have the mixer grinder, we have the atta coming from ready made, we have our washing machines, we are not washing our clothes. So our ancestors at that point of time had that day routine where they could eat and also burn those calories, like Sunita mentioned. But as the generation is moving ahead, we are not so physically active. So anything which could be taken in moderate is good for health, but it should not become an excess. That's what I
No,
just wanted to add.
Yeah.
No, thank you for your perspective, and I do agree. Anything in moderation is good, and that's what I was debating with my husband, and he said no rice at all. So I was like, no, anything with moderation should be fine. So
Yeah.
that settles it.
Moderation with equal physical activity. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if so
yeah.
if you are taking a small bowl of rice, and you're just sitting across and not doing it, then it's not good. So that's why we say, because this generation sorry, I cannot switch on my video because of some reason, but I just wanted to say that if you are having it in moderate, and equally physically active, then it is allowed. But now, due to our generation, what we do, we just eat of normally most of our generation are working from office, sitting at home, no much physical activity. We just sit, we just eat and sit. So in that case, we avoid. But if you are taking it in moderate and also physically active, then it makes sense.
Yeah, that's correct. So just to
Yeah,
give a
no,
small
thank you.
clarification, that to give a small clarification. See, right now, if your husband is there in the program, just to follow, whatever the diet plan you have received. If it is zero rice now, that is the right thing, because what Sunita must have done is she would have given you carbs from other sources, that is vegetables. Okay, and
No,
maybe she would, if you can ask her, she'll give you other low carb recipes. Rice, absolutely we avoid during the program. But
no, that's
somebody,
fine.
you're getting back, then little bit of rice, it's fine, but not during the program, because
Yeah, yeah.
it
No, I
blocks
agree.
your
No,
weight
no.
loss.
No, I agree, and we are sticking to the program. It was just an argument basis. I was arguing, we were arguing with each other, and he was completely
Okay.
no, rice is not. It's the only culprit for everything. You cannot have rice and all. And I'm like, no, you should have it, but in moderation. I'm not talking about the program. Right now, when we are in the program, once we are done, after that.
In fact, your
Yeah.
husband should have joined, because we just talked about rice only. Insulin is rice triggers insulin, lot
No,
of insulin.
yes. Yeah, he's right now he's in a meeting, so he had to switch
Okay.
off and I took over actually. That's why. He was actually on
Okay.
the call and then he got a meeting, so he had to switch. Yeah.
Actually,
I'll see.
they
I
logged
may
in
share
from
this
Canada
recording.
also.
Maybe you can just check with Sunita if you can get access to that, and then so that your husband can go through it.
They logged in
Sure.
from Canada.
They logged in from?
Canada.
Oh, great, great, wonderful, wonderful, nice, nice. Sunita Narla, I, who invited Sunita Narla?
It's another my client, Vishal.
Okay, okay. So she's still there. You have any questions,
Yes.
Sunita?
Yes, actually, I do have a questions. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I have done my program in previous year. It was very good. The program was very good, very well actually. I lost up to near to 12 kgs. So later, I've been stressed with my office work, and then I've not maintained properly. Again, I've been bounced back actually. So this year, like, I've again started the program. Is it fine to do frequently about this program? That is what made my query was actually.
See, there is no problem even if you do it. If you have doing it bouncing back again, because whatever that we are doing, it is completely in equal terms with science as well as with nature. Okay, if you see, right, even during the program when you lost weight, you had lot of vegetables. Am I right? You might have had lot of
Yes.
vegetables and good amount of fat and protein, which is anyways very, very good for the body. In fact, see, when I lost weight, I lost 12 kgs in what, 3 months, and then I I became fit. In the second month, typically, I don't know how Sunita manages. In the second month, I put my clients on intermittent fasting. That is on 2 meals, from 3 meals in the first month to 2 meals in the second and the third month. And then that is what even I also followed. And even after the program, right, I continued with intermittent fasting. See, today also, I go to the office, my first meal starts at 12:30. Right,
Oh.
morning I have apple cider vinegar. Then around 10 o'clock, I have this green tea. And then by 12:30 I have my first meal, and I feel so good about it. I feel so good. So it is not that you have left and then you are doing. So what I would suggest is, even even if you stop also, just continue to mix and match, so that I'm sure you have missed that part, so that because of which the rebound would have happened. So if you are able to mix and match, you can still maintain the weight. You are lost 12 kgs, you can maintain, and that is what we recommend. And even if you want to restart again, right? Absolutely,
Yes.
there's no problem, because there is absolutely no chemical composition in, whether it is in the nutrition, or we don't recommend anyways
Mm.
diet. So you can do it for a long period of time also, right?
Okay.
From maybe if you're having what, 5 times sugar, sorry, 5 times if you are having rice, right? Maybe you can reduce it to 2 times in a week or 1 time, right? It is no. I know few of my clients who are doing it after 1 year, after 2 years also. I mean, they take good amount of vegetables, good amount of nutrition, reduce the rice and then a lot of carbs. They have reduced substantially. Sweets, they have reduced substantially, and they feel so good. See, this is what you will understand even when you're following the program. Also, your mood swing is your mood is uplifted. You feel good most of the times. I don't know whether you have really felt it in the program.
Yes, I felt it. It was very good on previous year,
That is
but
because you're not giving
unfortunately,
your body carbs. Understand, you're
yes,
not giving your body carbs, because of which body is burning fat because of ketones. Fat burning hormones are produced in ketones. At the same time, you're not starving. There's no craving because you're giving your body good amount of fat and protein. So, and then your appetite comes down in 2-3 weeks of the program, which is very good. That means your body does not have to work so much in keeping you fit, in giving you energy, right? And that is the reason why you feel good. And this I'm not telling only from clients experience. This is from my experience also. I also feel so good when I go on 2 meals, to the extent that on Sundays, if there whenever we do non-veg, right, my first meal at 12:31, I have a good amount of non-veg, and then it'll be so full night I don't have anything. My next meal is next day only, but maybe 11 o'clock I'll have it instead of 12:30. Right.
oh,
And I
like
feel so
after,
good. I feel so good. There is no gastric problem, no stomach issues, no digestion issues, nothing. Right. So if you follow the program consistently, if you understand the science behind it, you will love what you're doing, even after the program also.
yes, okay, thank you. And after the program, we can continue with 2 meals. It won't be happen to
Yes,
appetite,
yes,
like it
you
won't be
can.
happen to health issues.
No, but when you're on 2 meals, make sure that you have good amount of nutrition, right? That means
Uh-huh.
lot of vegetables. And then, yeah, since you're in the maintenance and you come out of the program, you can have fruits also, right? A little bit of fruits also you can have, but then you also mix it with good amount of protein as well as fat, right? Which I think, Sunita will guide you. Just be in touch with her,
Yes,
even though you're
yes,
out of the program, right? So she will
yes.
tell you.
Okay, thank you. And one more thing, I'm actually the first time I did it's a vegan diet program. Actually, it works well. So I'm not a non-veg lover. Is it fine? We can go with the vegan program again, right?
Yeah. In fact, we have so many clients who have lost 20 kgs also vegan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct. The
it's
guy I told,
nothing.
right, 117 to 93. You can go to a transform page. It is pinned in the page with Ranya, right? He has lost 25 kgs, right? And then he's vegan only, completely vegan.
Okay, yes, okay. It's not, there is nothing we need to take plant protein or nothing to worried about, like meat only need to we need
No,
to
no, no.
take it,
It's not
like no,
about.
nothing
No,
like that, right?
when I say good amount of fat and protein in vegetarian source also, you can have good amount of fat and protein. It need not be only non-veg.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
we
Thanks
try
for
to
the
customize
information.
the diet based on your lifestyle so that you accept the program. If it
Yeah,
is too
understand.
much different, you may not be motivated to continue. But if it is related to your current diet, if you can do plus or minus changes in your current eating habit, that is good enough. And that is how people love
Okay,
the program.
okay, thank you.
All right. So we're almost, close to 1 hour. Any questions anybody has? Or we can wind up. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for joining. Really appreciate, your time, taking your time and then, being in the call and then getting a good value add. So maybe next week, we'll catch up with a new set of topics and then, we can share our learnings in that.